and good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of Are You Effing Serious? I'm one of your hosts, Tex, and this is my boy Jersey.
How's it going, people?
We want to go ahead and just reach out to you again, talk about some of the things that we've been talking about that we've considered, kind of interesting, and just want to know, are you effing serious? If you have any thoughts or ideas about topics that we could talk about or discuss, please go ahead and shoot them out and let us know. To go ahead and start off with, we want to do a recap of the year as a whole, but we also want to talk and touch on a few subjects, that we, I guess deem a little bit more important than some of the other ones. So, where'd you want to start off today, Jared?
Well, I wanted to start with, obviously, what we thought about 2014. What did we think about the movies of 2014?
I think there were a lot of good movies that came out in 2014. But the bad part is, right offhand, I can't think of anyone that just stands out as, oh man, that was a really, really good movie. I've seen a lot of movies, this year. Some in the theaters. I've seen some bootleg, and I think it all depends on which way you want to look at it. If you were looking at a made-for-TV movie, I know a lot of people were happy about the Aaliyah TV movie that Wendy Williams produced, and I know a lot of people weren't. I wasn't very impressed with the movie. In fact, I didn't even see the whole thing. I loved Aaliyah as a singer, but the movie just didn't do it for me.
Okay, well, if you're going to talk about made for TV, what about TLC? I enjoyed watching that.
I haven't seen that.
So you haven't seen it? Well, they said it was
comment.
inaccurate, I guess. One of the producers said it was very inaccurate, and then their former manager, Pebbles, said she wanted to sue.
Well, I mean, if she wants to sue, then apparently it must have been pretty accurate. That's all I can say. Because if something's not accurate, you can just let it go. But, I mean, I think it's when they start talking about the real things and the true things that people want to, start, oh, I want to sue because, you weren't supposed to say that or, talk about that. I can say, just throwing out, again, movies I've seen. One movie I can say that I really liked is a movie called Snowpiercer. You can actually get that in your Redbox. And it has Chris Evans. Most of you know him as Captain America, but he plays a role in that particular movie. He's the lead. Very good movie. It's kind of like an action suspense type deal in regards of a post-apocalyptic world, and they're on a train that basically circles the globe, and on this massive rail system. It's very, very good. I think we should check that out. Another movie I saw recently was Jersey Boys. Now,
it's Clint Eastwood directing too.
Yes. I told everybody, I've always liked Clint Eastwood ever since, Dirty Harry Callahan. And so, I've stayed with him, as he's gotten older. I don't think I think he's always been the same as an actor.
Yeah.
But it's that matter where he reaches out and does other things that, and the ways he does it, it makes you really want to, to get behind him. Because, to be honest, like, when I was younger, you say Clint Eastwood, I'm thinking either Cowboys or it's a shoot 'em up. I would never have thought of anything like this. And he's done a few movies that I've actually watched. Like, when I saw Gran Torino, I really, really fell in love, with Clint Eastwood as a director. So, Jersey Boys, telling the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. And I think it's a good movie, number one, because I love, movies that are, that tell the story of someone, behind the scenes of how they grew up and so on and so forth. But I like how they basically made it seem that Frankie Valli, was essentially what he was. And that was, he was the original, Sinatra. Sinatra, he was the, blue-eyed, champ.
Yeah.
But Frankie Valli was that original cat, connected in with the streets, kept with his homeboys, same people that he came up with are the same people he kept, definitely that true epitome of a Jersey boy. I'm sure you can definitely attest to that. And then it's also the fact that because it's good movies, good song, the actors that played Frankie Valli again did a phenomenal job.
I got to ask you about Christopher Walken was a big part of that movie. Did he kill it?
Amazing. Christopher Walken is an amazing actor, period. I'm just going to throw that out there. Period, point blank, Christopher Walken is the man. I love Christopher Walken ever since The Deer Hunter. And, I just got to tell you, it's amazing watching him act. Now, the thing is, even though he may do the same speech patterns, you kind of think, it's just, walking, delivering the lines because he doesn't change too much. But the character that he's playing, again, he definitely sets the tone in the role. I mean, if you were to imagine, say, Frank White, King of New York, that's essentially, what you're looking at there. You got a man that's in control, doing things and making it possible for Frankie Valli to do a lot.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. I mean, I would definitely
great to
recommend anybody watching that. If you love Clint Eastwood, movies, watch it. If you enjoy, movies about real people, I would say watch it. It's definitely good. I actually watched another thing. I picked this up out of Redbox, was Houdini. Now, they showed this on the History Channel. Channel I love. I love history. And they actually released it onto, DVD, and I watched that. Adrian Brody. I am not a fan of Adrian Brody.
He's been around.
Go ahead and throw that out there. But I believe he did a phenomenal job portraying Harry Houdini. I do.
I have to check that out.
You should.
I will definitely check that. And another picture that we both saw, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Now, it's nothing like the 1990 independent picture that we all saw as children. It's very different for CGI. Turtles look very steroidy.
Yes.
They're about 6 feet tall turtles,
Very urban turtles in this matter.
Megan Fox playing April O'Neil. I didn't really see Megan Fox as April O'Neil.
But you know what?
Pretty girl, but it's not enough.
I think if we're looking to only cast according to the demographics of the comic.
Yes.
If you're looking for a redhead or someone that could, play a redhead, then yeah, I could understand that. Even Auburn. I think probably more of an Auburn color.
Yeah.
But either way, if you're looking for that atmosphere, then yeah, I can definitely see, Megan not being, the choice. Now, on the other side of it, you want the movie to be a success and you want to attach a pretty girl.
Well, Transformers producer Megan Fox, she left Transformers, she got on Ninja Turtles. Michael Fox, not Michael Fox, I'm talking about. What's his name? Michael Bay. He's not an idiot.
No, he's not.
Got rid of her, brought her back. She's hot.
I mean, well, here's the
I
thing.
understand.
He has a good eye, and he knows what's going to sell. I mean, the thing is, like I said, she's a very beautiful woman. And the thing is, even if she doesn't say too much, just the fact of her being on the screen, and let's just say out of a 90-minute picture, even if she's on the screen, only 45 minutes of it, it's good enough in order to draw, the fan base that wants to see more than the Turtles.
But I have to compare it to the original from 1990, more based on the comic book. It was more gritty, if you remember.
Well, here's the thing. The original one I loved. Yeah, like you said, definitely gritty. The Turtles were more real, Mm-hmm. But it was also the matter of they cast a lot of unknowns at the time, too. And by casting unknowns in that role, it basically set that milestone as being a cult favorite, but it also set the standards for any movies going forward. Because even the sequel, Secret of the Ooze, wasn't as good as the first one because they tried to class it up.
There was only Corey Feldman that we knew, was the voice of Donatello, and the guy that would later on do Elmo, Kevin Clash, was Splinter at the time.
Right, and there was
that's pretty much it. I think Ernie Reyes,
Jeremy Sisto, also playing Donatello. A lot of people, don't know him. He actually played the medical examiner on Law and Order, for a few seasons. So you can always check him out there. But he did Raphael, the voice of Raphael as well. But it's a matter where we look to we have a standard when we saw these first come out. So if you want to compare the new one to the old one, then it looked better. It seemed more fun only because it was more current. I mean, there were no beatboxing turtles in the first one, while in this one you have them doing stuff like that. In the first one, Cowabunga, like they stayed really true to the series, to the television series and the comic book on the first one. While as opposed to this one, it was the matter of kind of like that the Superman with not Brandon Routh, the one after him.
You talk about You talk about the series or
no the movie the last one.
Okay, yeah, I know you're talking about.
See that's when they did that Superman there. They did it based off the theory and premise that everyone knows who Superman is. So instead of doing all this
I remember.
extra stuff, we're just going to go ahead and just jump right in, and here's the situation. Kind of like a TV series.
Well, they already had 4 Superman movies, so I guess they figured, give
Right.
them another one because they weren't all that good, folks.
Well, that's what they did
That
with
was
this
the thing
Teenage
right
Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. They basically took it that we all know who the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are, what they do, who they're fighting, Splinter, the Foot Clan and everything. They take it that we already know this, but what they do is they just automatically immerse us in this particular situation that's going on, and then try to wrap backstory around it. And then not only wrap backstory, but then change the backstory.
Yeah.
Because if they were to originally start off, being in the sewer, being found by Splinter in a canister, made by a certain company, that mutates them, as opposed to now in this one, they're in the laboratory, experimentation being done. April as a child names them. It makes it hard for me because in the first one, April was a grown woman, an established reporter, and again, these were young, turtles, as opposed to now they're trying to make them all around the same age.
It just wasn't for me. I gave it a shot. I think Michael Bay doing 80s remakes, that's not his thing.
I think for people like us that grew up watching the originals, it's fun. But you also got to look at what they're trying to do too, to help people. Because Will Arnett was in this movie, and to be honest, if you could have had anybody in that movie to play him, to play that role, because he didn't stand out. And I've seen him in so many funny roles and funny movies. From Blades of Glory, which is my favorite movie that he's in. And going back to Arrested Development, I don't want him to be stereotyped or pigeonholed by those roles. But number one, he has a very distinct voice, very distinct look. And so the thing is you kind of expect a certain will to come to the role, when he gets it, and it just wasn't there. I would have much preferred they had gotten anybody to play Casey Jones and had him in there like they did in the first one, as opposed to this backup cameraman, van driver.
It was just completely new origin, and it just kind of took me out of it. But we got to move on to the year in TV. One of my favorite shows of the year was American Horror Story Coven.
Okay,
I did
enjoy that.
Out. Emma Roberts, Julia Roberts' niece, did a great job. Kathy Bates,
yes,
an amazing job.
Amazing.
I believe
Angela
Bassett won an Emmy.
Yeah, there was a lot of wonderful actresses on that particular show. I watched a couple episodes. I didn't watch the entire series. I set it on the DVR. I started watching it, but then due to conflicts on the DVR, all of them didn't get recorded. So I watched what I had, and again, I think it was amazing. Now, the chick that played Precious, her.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
I got to a part when she was basically trying to decide between, I guess, the one coven with the White Witches and going to join Angela Bassett's character. So I didn't really see any further past that. Just her talking to the Kathy Bates character and stuff like that. So, but again, amazing show. Amazing topics, just from what I saw as a whole. I would love to have seen the whole series.
You got to watch it. Some of the best writing I've probably seen in a very long time. Episode to episode, it really built that whole season. Maybe the 12 episodes that aired were so great. And the thing is, that break that came from November up until the year after, when they went from November to January, I missed it. I was like, wow, we got 3 weeks without any new episodes. It's crazy.
And the weird part of it, though, is I remember when the American Horror Story first came out, and then they came out with, all the different variations of it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to last. I didn't.
But this has to be the best one, though.
It was only, I haven't seen the Freak Show one yet.
And I haven't seen it either.
I think I think that could, be up there with it. As long as they continue to do American Horror Stories through veins that people find interesting, they're going to continue to be successful. And like you said, as long as they continue to write as they have been doing. But, you got to remember that you can't, continue to play these things out, over and over and over. It's going to have, I wouldn't expect there to be, a 5th season. Like, I think, 5 is going to be a good number to go ahead and wrap that up.
Once you win the Emmy, you just go out with a bang. You
That'd
win
be
the
best
Emmy.
way. Well, and that's the thing, and that's why they went to the Freak Show, because you can't do too much. You keep trying to build the story up. Next thing you know, it's going to be like Twin Peaks, or Dallas, on for 20 years, and, it's too much.
I understand. So we have to move on, but definitely something else people talked about in 2014 was a cancellation of 2.5 Men.
Okay.
After 11 years, so this June, it will be the final episode will air. So what do you think about it, Tex?
I enjoyed 2.5 Men when Charlie Sheen was on it. I thought that, it was a perfect vehicle for him, having watched him go from, the Wall Street to the Hot Shots movies, just watching his transformation as an actor as a whole, basically flirting with stardom and just basically, keeping just enough of it to stay relevant.
Yeah.
The things in his personal life seemed to correlate, with his character, where it seemed that it wasn't him playing anyone else except himself. So when we have that mindset of this character and then his neurotic brother, his overbearing, mother, and all, that way that's set up, it's beautiful. Now, to kill him off, I think was already a bad move. I think if you're going to kill him off, you end the series and let it go. But to keep, to add Ashton Kutcher, I think that, there could have been at least 3 other choices that you might have wanted to throw in there aside from Ashton Kutcher. But he's pretty. People like him, so I understand why he did it.
It's purely sex appeal. The first part of the season that he was in, he wasn't wearing any clothes halfway through, and I'm watching this and like, put a fucking shirt on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you want women to watch it, but Charlie was never naked all the time. I mean, he was in the bed with the chick, but he was never like buck naked the whole season.
And the thing is, the chicks that liked the show for him liked the Charlie that was there.
Yeah.
It wasn't, who he could be. It was who he was. And the thing is, bringing in Ashton Kutcher and then the baggage he has there, I have it loaded on the DVR, I'm still getting through it. And, I can say that some of the episodes I've seen, I think I'm, I want to say like up to season 7 with Ashton now. The last episode I remember was him dating. No, actually, that's the last episode I remember was when his ex-business partner married his ex-wife.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt.
And then he was dating, some other woman, and they basically created another company, the electronic suitcase or something like that. So that, is where I'm at right now. But I mean, to be honest, hearing some of the things that, going forward.
Yeah, they're halfway through the last season. We're about to start the second half of the last season. Basically, to catch everybody up, Ashton and Alan have gotten married. Fake gay married. They adopt a child. They adopt a Hispanic child.
So, I mean, again, it seems to be, hard pressed for me, number one, that CBS is going to go this far with it. I mean, I'm surprised.
They went pretty far already.
I mean, I'm surprised, number one, that they have, a gay marriage. Now, here's the thing. I think the only reason why they're even going with it is because it is a fake gay marriage. I believe that if it were 2 actual, gay men in this character, that they wouldn't play it.
I think it's also because they're in California, and California is legalized gay marriage.
True, that is true.
It's a big storyline.
But at the same time, I mean, the whole plot on Alan's side was that, he's a freeloader, and the thing is, at first it was he was in a bad way, but then they just basically kept adding on, well, he's a freeloader, and I think that's, kind of messed up, to draw that character into. But now to the point where it's like now, in order for him to stay on this, to stay where he's at, they're getting married. I mean, it's like there's got to come a point at some point in time where, as a grown man, he has to move out. And so, for the show to still be going on this far, I think it's too far. Once Charlie died and the house got sold, essentially Alan should have moved out. If they were going to do another show, you could have done a spinoff.
Or like the Ropers.
Something like that. I could definitely have appreciated the spinoff because Jake's gone. Just get Alan, what I'm saying? You could bring in, Ashton Kutcher and they can be neighbors, and, little tiny crap hole apartment in California. There's plenty of them. I used to live in one.
Could have got married to Courtney Thorne-Smith, the long-term girlfriend. They could have got married and then had a kid.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to do that.
Dragged it out for 5 years.
Yeah, but adopting a Hispanic child...
As a Hispanic, I'd like to say there's nothing wrong with adopting a Hispanic child, but when a gay couple is going to adopt a Hispanic child to get ratings,
I can tell you.
No, I'm not down with
I'm
that.
pretty sure that in California, it's not the first time that two white men have adopted a Hispanic child. I can just say
not.
that it's not right on TV in theory, and it's not right in real life.
But it's funny on TV sometimes.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. Well, we have to talk about the year in music. Now, I'm not the biggest modern music fan, but this man is. And I'll throw in my 2 cents here, but we got to talk about the music. What did you like in 2014 as regards to popular music?
There were a lot of people that came out with songs. And the thing is, I hear so many, so much music that it's hard for me to think of names right now. But
Let's talk about Nicki.
well, I was gonna say,
There you
a
go.
lot of people are, real hyped over Nicki Minaj. Myself, I'm not. The biggest song I think that for this year was that whole Anaconda song where she used the Sir Mix-a-Lot sample.
Happy for him.
Personally, yeah, I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
That he's able to, become relevant again and make some money. But again, I think the song is trash. I've never been a big Nicki Minaj fan, and that song did not do anything to change it.
So her buns didn't make you want to have none?
Don't get me wrong. Now, on a pure physical level, I think she's a very attractive woman. But again, plastic surgery can do that to anyone.
Okay, so you're not a big Nicki fan. What about the other famous rapper of the year, Iggy Azalea, the famous Australian?
All right. You seen the movie Tropic Thunder?
I have.
Robert Downey Jr., Ben Stiller, Jack Black.
Very funny.
Brandon
Very
Jackson.
funny.
Very funny movie. There's a scene in there where Brandon Jackson's talking to Robert Downey Jr.'s character. Basically, Downey saying, he's confused because he's a dude playing another dude that's supposed to be another dude. You know what I'm saying? He's all confused. And that's what I think Iggy Azalea is. She's confused.
She's phoning it in.
There may be hoods in Australia.
Maybe.
Definitely. There may be open culture all the way around.
I wouldn't know.
I can only say this much. I don't care who you are. I don't appreciate any person, no matter what color, using the word nigga or nigger in a song. I do take extreme actually, I don't know what word I want to use right now. You know what? I find it very disgusting and distasteful for a white woman, to make songs and go around, nigger, period, point blank. I'm going to say it. But number 2, I don't think she's talented. I mean, essentially, when I listen to her, it makes me think of Fergie back when she was rapping.
Okay, yeah, Black Eyed Peas, yeah, I got you.
Well, not even Black Eyed Peas, before then, when she was rapping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she did the whole Wild Orchid thing, and then after, she rapped it in between and all this other stuff. So,
I'm not digging it.
when I hear her, that's what I think of. When I look at her, don't get me wrong, as a man that likes, humps on a woman, I appreciate, her stature, but I mean, I'm not impressed. I'm pretty sure right now that there's at least 3 other white female rappers that are able to do a much better job than Iggy Azalea as far as getting out there, and just, showing lyrical and MC skills.
She's a pretty white girl.
Pretty white girl.
There you go.
On a bass heavy beat.
Smart. You marketing people are geniuses. Pretty tall white girl, nice ass.
Yeah.
Market the shit out of it. Like,
because they know that
There you go.
as as the entertainment industry becomes more and more sexualized, they know that those are the kind of things we want to see. So they're going to do that. You're going to see more and more attractive people, but they're just less talented. And I think